Okay, so last time when we were with our characters, they were hidden in a cave, hiding from a storm. They had witnessed two very large birds clashing in the skies above them. Although you never really got a good look at them, one of them fell from the sky and touched down high on the mountain above you. And there was a huge shower of lightning and sparks, and the top of the mountain glowed for a long while into the night. You guys have taken a long rest. The storm continued all through the day, and the storm has finally let up. And we are in night, the first night after the attack on your camp. So what would you like to do? Everyone's had a long rest. Everyone's relatively back in good shape. There shouldn't be any wounds or anything like that carried over. Rutabaga has mended significantly.
She just has a soft spot.
And things are wet from all the rain and the hail. And there's probably even a little bit of ice that has formed from the night chill as we begin this first evening. So, what would you like to do?
Okay, listen. So, I know that, you said we were going to be using the poison on their supplies, but I don't know if you've been, listening. I'm a hunter. I don't know what kind of, food you've been eating from what hunters, but we don't really use poison. That would just, really fuck up the whole, food thing, Because we got to eat it. So I don't know how much of a help me and my poison that I don't own or use is going to help with their supplies. I know you had this plan, but I'm not the guy, my guy.
What is he talking about?
Poison.
Yes, that was the one part that I understood. What is the plan that he's referring to?
Well, how many of us are there compared to how many of them?
Yes, I understand that as well, but what is your plan?
So, if we go to their camp, we find their supplies, their food stores, their water, and we poison it, how many will be left for us to deal with?
Which, in theory, I like, but I'm a hunter. We don't poison things because we need to eat them.
Well, you're sneaky.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I can take poison. I just don't have poison.
So we need to find some.
I'm game.
Doesn't seem very satisfying. Doesn't seem very satisfying at all. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you, but it just doesn't seem...
We don't poison all of them, just the ones that we don't want to fight head to head, and then we leave the ones that we do want to fight head and take ahead, we leave alive,
I'll reserve judgment until you have the actual poison, then we can see. Where do you propose looking?
The top of the mountain.
Oh, is that where the poison is?
I'm sure we'll find some on the way. But in the meantime, we should head for that glowing spot. That storm last night with the birds, that was not a normal occurrence. I don't know how much you believe in bird signs and signs from the gods, but that we need to pay attention to that.
Am I not a green blood Stormtalon? Absolutely. Yes, we really perhaps perhaps some of us should go and make sure it's safe for others.
And split up, you mean?
I mean, not if you disagree, but...
If I disagree, what do you mean?
Ordinarily, I'd have 6 compatriots to tell you what to do, but given that the Stormtalons now consists of my good self, you and others, I'm not going to tell. I'm attempting to engage you in discussion. It's a concept you may or may not be familiar with.
I'm very unfamiliar with discussion from yourself. All right, we go look at your shiny rock.
Yeah, we do.
But you need to promise poison in return.
I can't do that, but I'm sure we could work together and find some on the way. You know, the real poison is the friendships you make along the way.
Oh. I bet.
That is a very strange metaphor. I'm confused by that. Are you promising friendship in lieu of poison? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just really, really trying to get us to the top of the mountain.
Can we please go?
Doing
He's
my
going
best,
to keep
guys.
talking at us. We might as well just go. You won't get your poison, but we're going to go anyway.
Are there any notable alchemists on the mountains?
Well,
Granny?
I can tell you that Chirp
Let me think about it for a second.
and the hunting parties rarely go much more than halfway up the mountain. The time it takes to traverse anything above that height, there's just a lot more time involved. There's climbing involved. There's finding trails and such. And generally, things that you're hunting, like you might hunt goat or sheep up in the mountains, but once you get above a certain height, you're going to find less and less than that. So it's not worth the goblin's time to go up that high.
Okay.
So I would say the top half of the mountain is not really explored, that you totally know what's exactly up there. The lower half of the mountain, you, Chirp, would know, and probably all of you would have some experience with the trails and you know, sort of what lives there. There's no other settlements.
Okay.
But once you get sort of above the halfway mark, it's going to be a bit of a mystery.
Arduous.
And by that same logic, anything like, on the one hand, it's likely that nobody else would want to live there. But on the other, if anyone who does live there is probably pretty nasty and could probably wipe out the four of us.
Well, there's also the frost, but we don't really have to talk about that.
Why
if we
would
don't
you?
want to.
Why would you bring that up? Why would you even? Don't bring that up.
I'm just saying.
No, just shush. We're gonna go now. Come on, let's go. She starts walking.
Okay, so Granny Murk.
That's right.
Granny Murk. I have to apologize, I screwed that up last time. So Granny Murk starts leading the way towards the mountain trails.
Yep.
Okay. Are we following?
I follow Granny.
I mean, she's the elder, right? We gotta go with her. I'm gonna start following.
I'll kick him in the back and towards the trail and follow.
Okay, so you get a boot in the back, and off up the mountains you go.
Little thing pops up in the corner. Chirp will remember that.
Who has a decent? Who thinks they may have the best survival in the group?
I got two.
D&D Beyond has decided I can't see my character sheet.
Okay.
That means it's +9.
No, I'm pretty sure it's only a +7 because I didn't take expertise in it.
Oh well then.
Are you proficient?
No, I don't know. I can't see it.
Where would you find
Is
that?
it a Wi-Fi issue?
Okay, so.
Nope.
There should,
Dun, dun.
And
it might require you, if that
and
window's open from last time, it might require you to
So
refresh
you're
it.
plus
D&D
It's
Beyond is a
it's
little picky
Plus
that way.
1.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
try doing that.
That's
Closing
not
it all
that
out. I tried a new tab.
It's
but-
better than 0.
It's better than 0.
Like,
Or
it's
minus
So
refreshing.
we have +2 from Granny.
Eber.
Zhulzuk, no, 1. Everybody else 1.
Yeah.
So unless our
No, my wisdom is my dump stat. We're good to go.
okay, so let's have. I'm gonna have Granny make a survival check as she leads them up the mountain.
That's gonna be a big 9.
Okay. Well, there's a few times that you guys aren't sure that Granny is actually taking the right trail.
Oh no.
You feel like you're traveling through the mountains. You're just not sure if you're ascending very much.
But for the record, doesn't matter. She probably knows that she's a little bit lost, but just goes.
Oh yeah, she's not admitting it. She's
Oh
not
yeah.
admitting it.
No, there's no question of that.
All right. So she continues on her way.
How long have we been walking now?
Well, it's night. The moon, maybe about an hour or two.
Listen, I didn't tell you to follow. I just said I was gonna follow. Don't look at me like that. Also, can I roll to see if I find any poisonous plants?
Any what?
Like poison ivy or anything like that? Like anything that like
Yeah, you can make either survival or
gives
nature,
you, like,
whichever's
keep your
higher.
hamstrings in check.
Yeah, survival or nature, whichever's higher.
Oh wow, this is really just not agreeing with me.
So you're like, poison. There's a plant, poison ivy. I'll look for that.
That's what I'm like.
Yes.
I can't. No, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. Just give me a check anyways. We'll know if you're in the ballpark or not.
9, and survival is wisdom.
Yep. And nature would be intelligence.
So I'm gonna say my modifier is like 1 to that.
Okay. 1 or 2, do you think? Do you think you're proficient in nature or survival?
I'm definitely not proficient in that.
Okay. So you don't find anything that you're looking for. And after a while, a little while longer, maybe it's approaching sort of 2 hours, maybe even 2.5. This trail is not the right trail. It does not seem to be leading you. The peak that you're trying to get to. By the way, that glow on the top of the peak is not there anymore.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
It was for that first night, but now gone. So, does Granny want to try to reorient herself?
Well, as soon as she realizes it's not the right way,
Yes.
she does try to do that, and she turns around and says, "I need quiet."
Is Rutabaga mimicking her? Okay.
And she turns and she faces the mountain.
Okay.
And grasps her staff in both hands and closes her eyes. And well done. Well, nicely done. Yeah, that's a 6.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
And continues on.
No, she finds a new trail and she heads in that direction. You've been walking about half the night when you arrive at a riverbed. It's pretty broad. Maybe about 100, 150 feet from one side to the other. It's incredibly shallow though, to the point that like most of the stones are above, and you can sort of walk from stone to stone. As you look up the riverbed, you can just see in the moonlight a glacier, and that glacier reaches up onto the mountain where you want to go. So you think if you follow the riverbed, you'll be making some progress.
All right.
Can I roll anything to see if I feel like that's the right?
Okay. Yeah, make a survival check.
12.
12? Well, you know that you can see the peak you're trying to get to, and that glacier does come down off of that peak in between sort of a saddle of 2 mountain peaks, and it's like wrapping down. You certainly probably don't want to climb the glacier, but that's at least the peak that you need to get to.
Are we headed to that?
Yes.
You're gonna climb that?
Yes. The question is, are you going to climb it?
I can climb it, but your old ass might not be able to.
Did she turn upriver?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's not listening to you. She's just going. Her old ass is facing you.
Her old ass.
Okay.
Saggy though it may be.
So, Granny continues. Is Granny walking on the riverbank, or is she stepping from stone to stone up the river?
That's a riverbank. Is there anything that she'd know about this river particularly?
No, there's a number of these rivers. They're like runoffs from the ice caps and the glaciers that are here.
Because the player is so suspicious of you, but the character is probably chill. So I just wanted to know which one to trust.
Okay. So you're taking the riverbank?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your boy Chirp is hopping from stone to stone looking for fish too, though, just like as he gets.
All right. He's checking to see if there's maybe some fish in this river. What's Rutabaga doing?
Perhaps Rutabaga walking alongside Zuck,
Mm-hmm.
having a little conversation.
Sure.
Yeah.
About?
Say, what? How would I address Zuck like normally?
Well, Zuck's a hobgoblin, and they're I don't want to assume there's hierarchy in your particular tribe, but I mean, from what we know of Zuck, they want to exercise some caution.
Yeah. How would you prefer to be addressed?
You address and we'll find out.
Yeah. Sir Zuck.
What?
I do have to inquire on exactly what happened last night.
What happened last night? You weren't
Yes.
there?
I was there, but I missed many of the highlights, such as what happened to our elders.
They were murdered?
All of them?
Well, that we know of. Or taken.
Interesting. Just information that kind of pertains to me, given my role and my duty. And so now
What is your role and duty?
I'm supposed to be a protector of the elders.
Well, there's one up there. Go protect her.
I'm protecting her, especially from you.
Okay.
So, as she says that, Granny hasn't seen it yet. Granny is sort of in the lead, but as Chirp jumps from rock to rock, he can see up the riverbed a little farther than Granny because she's on the bank. You're currently, like, there's rocks and hills. Occasionally you've got a couple trees even growing up in this area. Not many, though. But you can see, Chirp can see a firelight on the riverbank ahead.
Okay.
Probably about 300 to 400 feet from where the group currently is. Granny will walk right into it if she continues up the...
I'm gonna let out a low to high pitched whistle and dive off the rocks into Granny Murk into a bush, like full on, like
Okay.
regroup tackle. Like we need to get down.
So you make some... were you two on the riverbed or the bank?
Is this a running river?
It is. Well, it's a melt off.
I would
from the
probably be
glacier,
following where she was walking because she was talking to me.
Okay. So you two are chatting on the bank, walking.
So-
I'm going to say maybe about 30 feet
The
behind
minute I
Granny.
see him like take her out, I'm like, looks like you got some protecting to do.
From the bush, you hear, "Not now, Chirp. We have some business to take care of."
Listen, I'm not really interested in some origami with some fold flap A to point B nonsense. We're really just gonna get down, okay? There's a fire going on up there, and I don't want to see anybody get hurt.
It was a joke. Calm down, son. All right. Now
It's
she
also a
she
joke.
keeping low still. She gets up, like pushes you off of her. Sorry. Whatever. And she like. Would you see anything else?
I just saw a campfire, and I know I wasn't expecting a campfire. And if there's a campfire, there's probably patrols.
She takes a minute to cast a message to you. He saw a campfire. Get down.
So I'll be,
Continue.
obviously she's raided before, so we probably have like a
Yep.
sign language or something.
Chances are Chirp has even been on raids before. That's just not his primary.
Right away, I'm just
responsibility.
like quiet, straight ahead, find some cover.
Yep. So you guys duck in behind some rocks and things like that. And sure enough, your sort of passive perception didn't pick it up. But now that Chirp's like, there's a fire on the riverbank, you start to look up that direction. And sure enough, there is maybe a little bit of a glow up ahead over a couple larger, piles of stone.
I don't.
And what do we see? Anything?
You can just see the light at this point.
Okay.
So we're gonna regroup.
We need to
I'm guessing.
reconvene with the others. So I motion to you, and we're gonna try and stealth back to these two.
Okay.
Back to them.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're
Yep.
behind us.
You move back. You don't need to roll stealth here.
But I
I'll just be like, you need to go ahead.
I'll tell you if you need to.
Go ahead, check it out.
Yep. Okay.
We need numbers. We need to know what weapons they have.
Weapons. Okay.
Come back and let us know.
I can't count. I can count to like 4. So I'll count to 4. Maybe 4 times.
Nah! Consider if there's more than 4, we're in trouble anyway. Put it away. Go on, son.
All right. I'm gonna take my short bow out and I'm gonna sneak up.
Okay, so I want you to make a stealth check at this point.
Oh, sure, he gets to make a stealth check.
Here we go. Here we go.
I do actually have my character sheet now.
Yeah, right when the stealth check comes up, he conveniently has his
Well, my
character
phone
sheet.
words and my like I've got them both here for I know. Okay. 16.
16? So you're like moving from rock to rock. So, it's not long before you close that 300 feet down to about 100 feet. And then you stop because you see sitting on top of a rock, not at the campfire. This is about 100 feet from the campfire.
Okay.
There is in the moonlight, and with your dark vision, you can see a man, a human. He's wearing leathers and furs, and you recognize him as a Kel barbarian.
So they're the people from across the river.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
And he is sitting on a rock. He has he's sort of not so much sitting as it crouched. So almost like like a back catcher in baseball. He's
Okay.
like crouched down, looking around, and he has a spear sort of across his lap. And you recognize him to probably be like a sentry.
Okay. So he doesn't have any kind of like working equipment on him. He's like a bow or like hunting gear.
You don't see a bow or anything like that. You see the spear across his lap, and he's in leather armor,
Okay.
or the equivalent of leather armor with his furs and stuff.
Okay. I am going.
He's watching the river.
He's watching the river. Okay. So it's me. How much distance between me and
60
him?
feet.
60 feet, and then 100 feet from me is the campfire.
Yeah, and you can see the light is significantly larger, but the campfire is in amongst almost like a boulder field.
Okay.
So as the glaciers have pulled back, they've left all that debris behind, and the campfire is down in that area. You can't really get a good look at it or what's there yet, but this is like an outer sentry.
Okay.
However, you know that he's a human, and even though Kel barbarians are good in the wilderness, he's only going to have so much visibility in the night.
I'm going to whatever my relative left to my left, away from the river. I'm guessing.
No, left would take you into the river. Let's say so.
Okay,
right.
so to my right, then I'm going to walk about another 60 feet. Keep an eye out for more sentries further back, and if there are none, regroup.
Okay, so and your stealth check was 16, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Yep. So you stay kind of low, circle around him a bit. You don't see another sentry. And you can get a little bit better view of the the fire from here, and you can see a tent.
Okay. Just one tent?
Yeah.
Okay.
Similar to the tents that you guys use, where they've got some old, sort of long pole wood and wrapped in some sort of skin, and you can make out just the outline of it. It's obviously near the fire, but you can't see people or anything like that there.
So there's one tent, one sentry. I'm gonna go back and regroup.
Okay.
And as I approach, I'm just gonna let out a little, and like a hello whistle.
Okay. So you guys hear the whistle, and then a moment later, Chirp kind of comes out of the shadows.
Yeah. So they're watching the river.
How many?
The single person that I saw is watching the river. Their camp around the fire only really has one tent. So
How many were in the tent?
I didn't see in the tent, but I'm
We
assuming.
told you to find out how many were in the camp.
Listen, I don't know if you've shared tents before, but it's not super roomy in there. So like maximum, 4 people, and either way, the answer was gonna be 4. So I don't really know what you wanted from me. But they're watching the river, so if we go around, we could get them by surprise, and maybe get real numbers.
When I was a girl, we squeezed 12 goblins into a single tent.
They're probably pretty malnourished too.
Yes.
Yeah. But these they're humans too. They're not goblins.
Okay.
It's a human, so it's dark, and they're not gonna.
That was important. Thank you
that's
for
why I told
telling
you.
us.
That
Good.
happened.
All right.
I'm so helpful.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are, sure. I motion to Zuck and walk a few paces away.
I'll follow.
I'm a chill.
Well done, Chirp. We know 100% more than we knew 5 minutes ago.
Thanks, Rutabaga. At least somebody's got my back.
It's the Chirp and Rutabaga show. If he had done anything else, the Stormtalons would number 3. Now, what are we going to do?
We do what we always do. We raid and we kill.
This is what we do.
This is what we do.
And
All
this
right.
is how we do.
Shall I lure the guard away with my wiles? Thank you for that.
No. No. I think we should just get the drop.
All right. send Chirp in again?
How would that
Say
even
we
work?
set the tent on fire.
Enough burning. Look. I understand it's traditional, but it is wasteful of resources, in my opinion. We could use a tent. Just saying.
We're on a mountain. There's caves everywhere.
I like tents. Anyway, whatever. It's up to you. You're the burning guy.
All right.
Go. Send Chirp.
Wait, am I going alone for like the big event?
No.
Like the big? Okay.
Chirp, go in, sneak up to the tent, set it on fire.
All right.
When the tent's on fire, that's when we jump in.
I can do that. Yep.
Very well.
Does
The
anybody?
barbarian's distracted.
I have like a tinder box too. We can
Jump
just
on.
like light one of my arrows on fire.
Sure.
Cool. Let's do that because I don't. Yeah.
How far around the camp did you check, Chirp? Just around like one side, or?
Oh, so now you're second guessing it work?
I'm not
Or
saying
was
it's
that
his
a few
word.
minutes ago?
I'm ascertaining information from what he said.
I walked until I
Barf.
saw what looks like somebody that like stands on our towers like that, but not in a tower. He was on the ground, right?
He was a ground tower guy.
Yeah, he was a
Got
ground
it.
tower guy.
Okay.
And then
Right.
I walked to know. I just like checked for more people on this side of the camp. I didn't see any, and yeah,
My concern is that there might be somebody else on the other side of the camp, and or in the tent, and or roaming.
why would they check for things coming down the mountain when all the people?
Don't ask me to fathom the ways human brains think. I'm just.
Perhaps we can eliminate the sentry first.
That's the idea.
All right. All right. I don't think you guys need me. I'll just watch the fun.
We might need your wiles.
You were there.
So who's going to move up on the sentry then? Whoever does needs to make a stealth check.
Let's see.
We'll both move up.
I'm gonna move past the sentry to behind the camp while they're sneaking up.
So Rutabaga and Zhulzuk are going to move at the sentry, and
I'm going to stay 30 feet behind.
Oh, wait, no, I
So that
okay,
I'm, so that
and
I'm.
Chirp is going wide and coming in
Yeah.
not from the riverside but the opposite side of the camp.
In my mind, it's like a capital P, and the river is on the left.
Yep.
And I'm going around to the right to the top of the circle.
Yep.
Ooh.
Okay.
Did you say that his spear was resting on his lap?
Yeah.
Hmm. I could try to sleight a hand it out of him.
You'd have to get close.
You gotta get up to him first.
I have a +5 to sleight of hand.
So those of you that let's have the three of you make stealth checks. Now remember, if you're depending on the armor you're wearing, you might get a disadvantage on stealth. So what armors are we wearing?
Scale.
So you're definitely at disadvantage on stealth.
Jingle, jingle.
I am. I am wearing. How do you tell
It'll say on your equipment.
Hopefully it'll be on your equipment.
on my equipment?
I get advantage because my my armor's made out of hide.
Ah, that's a horrible joke. No, you don't.
You get disadvantage now.
You go ahead and make your check for Chirp though.
Studded. Cool.
So
Studded
you
leather.
don't. You just roll as is as well.
Okay.
What Chirp get?
23.
You're good.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Your boy's a rogue.
Okay, do I add the number if I don't have the dot beside proficiency?
Yeah, you still have the number.
Alright, I got 19 then. Or 18.
I got a 10.
Okay. Well,
It would have been nice if I could have used my first roll.
that disadvantage got you.
The disadvantage got me to a 10.
So, Chirp is going pretty wide and not running into any trouble.
Tight.
I'm going to say that you're about 80 feet from that camp, though, when these two get spotted by the sentry.
I got 18.
You don't get spotted, but he hears Zuck coming. So,
I noticed that.
yeah, you're about 40 to 50 feet away when he suddenly, rises up and...
I cast Hex.
Okay, well, let's roll initiative
Oh,
first.
okay.
Let's roll initiative first. If we were in a surprise, and if Granny can roll for initiative as well.
Yep.
So anybody above a 20?
Yeah, I'm 20.
At 20? That's good. Anybody above a 15?
16, sorry.
16 for Granny? Anybody above a 10?
12.
Well, they're on 11. He's on 11, so...
Whew. This is the barbarian?
Mhm.
Oh, we can get him.
Libabar.
So Zhulzuk goes first, so he casts
I
Hex.
cast Hex as my bonus action and follow it up with an Eldritch Blast.
Did you close any distance?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm walking up.
Okay, so you make your
As I'm
30-foot
like-
move.
I'm Robo-copping up to him.
Okay, so shoot your Eldritch Blast.
15 plus 5, 20.
That hits.
Yeah, it does. 10 damage.
10. Did you have your
Yeah.
curse as well? Yep. Okay.
Oh, no, I didn't. 13 damage.
13. He falls dead off the rock. You're quick and you're like Hex, boom, and
This is what we do.
Chirp maybe hears that off to his left, so he knows that they've done something. Something's happened where the sentry was.
Tango
You can.
neutralized.
Tango neutral.
You're now about 50 feet from the camp.
from the camp.
Yeah.
Okay.
You now realize that the rocks that you're sort of behind now.
Yep.
Any movement from here forward is going to be difficult to go unnoticed. It's pretty flat ground.
Okay.
There is a tent. There are 2 more barbarians sitting by the fire,
Okay.
and they're sort of poking at it. You can see that they've cleaned a goat, and it's hanging over the fire on sort of a made spit.
I'm gonna eat that whole thing.
Just get into the battle.
Can I? How much of an action would it take to try to light something that could then light an arrow?
Well, you can light a torch, but do you have rags or anything for
I have a tinderbox in my inventory.
You probably don't have anything to get an arrow sort of burning and.
I'm gonna headshot a barbarian. Yeah, we're gonna do
Okay.
that.
So you draw your bow back, take careful aim. You can roll with advantage because they don't know you're there,
Okay.
And sneak attack.
and he'll get sneak attack because he rolled advantage. Yeah.
That's 2d6. Okay. So 15 for the first attack, and 16 for the second
So you
attack.
take the 16,
Okay.
and how much damage did we do?
Does that hit? Yeah.
Well, that hits, yeah.
So it's 1 plus 3, 4 plus 10 damage.
10?
Yeah.
You were
pretty
aiming
strong,
for his head. Instead, you catch him sort of just up in the clavicle, maybe just below the clavicle. And it definitely puts him on his butt. He looks pretty badly wounded, but he's not. You don't think he's dead yet. It wasn't a kill shot.
I'm gonna use my bonus action to hide and like move and then duck back under a different rock.
Okay, so give me that stealth check, because your stealth would have been broken when you make the attack.
Yep. 11.
11? Okay.
So these are more guys that were sitting at the same campfire as this dude.
The one that you guys took out was a sentry that was about 100
Outside
feet from their camp.
Oh, okay.
Whereas Chirp has moved right up to their camp and saw 2
Okay.
sitting by the fire. Okay?
Perfect.
So we're just going to keep with this initiative again, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to jump back in here. So Zhulzuk has just taken out the sentry.
Obliterated him.
Yeah, and he maybe hears sort of a quick from the camp ahead as the guy
Okay,
takes
so how far am I away from that camp?
about 100 feet.
Okay, so if I move up my movement,
Yep.
can I put Hex on the first guy I see and Eldritch
If you
Blast?
move up 30 feet, you won't see them yet. You can dash, though, if you'd like.
I would like to dash and throw out my Hex.
Can you do that?
It's a bonus action.
So dash is your standard. Yep, you're good. So so you make your dash, and you can just sort of you come over a bit of a rise of stone, and you can just see the 2 by the campfire.
I actually can't cast Hex unless it counts as because I dropped that guy immediately. I can do it to someone else in the combat, but because he wasn't around them, probably not, right?
Oh, it's got to be the last round,
Yeah,
right?
it's your call.
So I don't know. No, I'll let you do that. That's
Okay,
fine.
so then
So
I'll-
you dash up and over sort of the rise of the stone. You can see down into the camp. It's not within range of your dark vision, but they're sitting around a fire.
Okay.
And there's one lying sort of on his back with an arrow sticking out of him, and another one that's just kind of rising and looking
That guy.
in the opposite direction that you are.
The opposite?
Yeah, he's looking out, trying to figure out where Chirp went.
Okay, yeah, him. I'm going after him.
Okay, so you axe him. Granny, what does Granny do? Granny's a fair distance back.
Yeah.
You probably heard like a boom, like force missile. Like
I'm just gonna stroll up.
and
Takes your time.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I trust him. I think they're gonna be fine. So I move up to be within like 20 feet because if I use double my movement, I can get there.
And Rutabaga.
So I was at like the same place where he is when he
Yes.
started his.
Yeah. So if you dash as well, you can be beside him, and you guys will be looking down. You guys will both be looking down. I don't know if Rutabaga has a ranged weapon. He can use
I
them.
don't believe he does.
I don't think so either. I think he's mostly blades.
But he's not in combat yet, right?
No, he's not quite within range of combat.
All right.
He will be next round.
I'll just dash up to him then.
Okay,
Yep.
so the two of you are hauling butts towards the camp. Their turn. So first of all, the one on the ground sort of begins to crawl towards the tent, and at the same time trying to pull the arrow out of his shoulder. The other one takes aim at something with a spear and throws it. Now, he did see Chirp. The stealth check wasn't high enough. However, I'm going to give you partial cover from the stones. Okay, so your arm class goes up by 2. Whatever it is, it's 2 higher. And he only got a 13 with his spear. So it skips off the rock. And now it's Chirp's turn.
Okay. I'm gonna pop my head back up, pin the guy on the ground to the ground,
Okay.
and then try to hide.
So if
again.
you shoot the one on the ground, you'll be at disadvantage because technically he's prone.
Yeah, I'm doing it for the clout.
Okay.
13 to hit. Oh, disadvantage.
Yeah.
Still 13 to hit.
13?
Yep.
That's good enough. So roll me damage. No sneak attack this time.
Nope. 4 damage.
4. He stops moving. That arrow sinks in and he goes still. Zhulzuk.
Would you like another stealth roll for my duck and cover?
Are you going to do that?
I would like to, yeah.
Yep.
Bonus action. Sorry.
You're using your goblin bonus action to hide, right?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
And also it's another 11, so.
Excellent. Okay. Zhulzuk can be on top of that guy in the camp as
I
well.
see the guy like fall.
Mhm.
The guy got shot twice, and I smile and I say, "He might be stupid, but he's a good shot."
Okay.
And then I'll walk up to that guy and I'll just blast him again
Okay, go ahead.
as I'm drawing my blade. 16.
That's a hit. So give me damage.
5 damage.
5. So you catch him in the shoulder and he turns to see you and Rutabaga are approaching. Granny keeps strolling.
Granny looks at Granny can see what he's doing, right?
Cannot see the camp yet. He
Oh.
saw Zhulzuk and Rutabaga. She saw Zhulzuk and Rutabaga sort of disappear over a ridge into the camp light.
Okay.
But you're just passing sort of the dead sentry.
Okay. So I'm just gonna I'm coming up, and I want to get at least. I mean, I could say that I know him well enough, but I want to get to the point where I can actually see what he's doing before I roll my eyes and cast message and say information. Zhulzuk is also valuable, and that's what I do.
Okay. Rutabaga.
So it's just the one guy left,
Yes.
And
And
he
he's
just-
looking at you and
and he's
Zhulzuk
angry,
approaching.
right?
Oh, he's been hit in the shoulder with the Eldritch Blast. Yeah, he
Okay.
looks.
So I'm going to go to Zhulzuk. Go. I've got this.
I got this.
Draw my blade and
Yeah.
walk up to him in swordsman pose and go challenge you to a duel.
Do you attack or do you ready an attack?
Oh, I'm gonna. What weapon is he wielding?
He has he doesn't have any weapons. He threw his last spear. He's got a spear on the ground by the campfire that he's gonna have to pick
Go for it.
up. Okay. Are you gonna ready an attack that if he goes for it, you're attacking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he goes for it then.
Yeah, and I attack.
Okay, go ahead and make your attack.
With my rapier, I get 18,
18 is a hit. Yeah.
and then that is
Should be a D8.
D8, a date. So that's 11.
Oh, well, that finishes him. So he goes for a spear and you run him through, and he just sort of. And you've taken the camp.
I wipe the blood off my blade, sheath it. And I look at Zhulzuk and I just give him a little, or Suck, and I give him a little wink.